What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a great one. We got the Cars self-titled debut, brought to us by our friend and longtime patron of the channel, Rich. Thank you, Rich. Rich always brings us fantastic stuff, and he's got his own YouTube channel, which is fantastic. I will link it below. Go check it out. Lots of music and movie stuff there. If you'd like to support us anyway, check out the Patreon link below. Let's dive into this thing. This album came out in 1978, so I was born in 1971, so I know a few of these songs. I've only ever listened to this album one time last year. I just moved on. I was trying to listen to a bunch of classic albums. I remember I liked it. I know a few of these songs, but I was, later on in the Cars thing. It's more You Might Think and Drive and that stuff. I was in that, the Heartbeat City album, those sorts of things. That's the Cars I really know, but I know this is one of the most acclaimed debut albums of all time. So let's dig into the research a little bit. The Cars were an American rock band formed in Boston in 1976, emerging from the new wave scene in the late 70s. Lineup consisted of Elliot Easton, he was lead guitar, Greg Hawkes on keyboard, the great Rick Ocasek on rhythm guitar, Benjamin Orr on bass and guitar, and David Robinson on drums. Not that David Robinson. Now, Rick and Benjamin split lead vocal duties, and Rick served as the band's principal songwriter. They were at the forefront of merging 1970s guitar-oriented rock with the new synthesizer-oriented pop that was then becoming popular and flourishing in the early 80s. Boy, don't I know it. They were named Best New Artist in the 1978 Rolling Stone Readers Poll and won Video of the Year for You Might Think at the first MTV Video Music Awards in 1984. In April of 2018, they were finally inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and have sold over 26 million albums in America. This, as I mentioned, the debut studio album released in June of 1978. Only went to the 18 in the US. It was on the chart, though, for 139 weeks. So that's how you knew you had staying power. And back then, man, the album charts were a war, man. So being there for that long is fantastic. Did rank number 4 on the 1979 year-end chart. That's what just staying around that long will do. Went to 29 in the UK, certified 6 times platinum in the US, 353 in the Rolling Stones top 500 albums of all time. Produced by Roy Thomas Baker, who of course worked with tons of artists, maybe most famously with Queen. Musically, it's been described as new wave, pop, and synth rock. It featured a large amount of technology on many of its tracks due to the band's appreciation for new equipment. Critics loved it. All Music 5 out of 5, Q 4 out of 5, Rolling Stone 4 out of 5. And I did read this, any sort of new technology, any sort of new instrument, Benjamin Orr has talked about in a few interviews how they would go buy it, try it out, even if they don't know how to use it, they would just mess with it, and sometimes it ended up on the recordings. All right, let's jump into this classic. First up, a song that I do know, the iconic Good Times Roll. We got Ocasek on lead vocals here. Their third single only went to 41 in the US. Rick wrote the song as a sarcastic commentary on the good times in rock music, saying, quote, "That was my song about what the good times in rock and roll really mean instead of what they're supposed to be." It was kind of a parody of Good Times, really. It's kind of like not about good times at all. Roy Thomas Baker, of course, the producer, was responsible for the recording's layered harmonies. Rick recalled, "I just remember when we did Good Times Roll in the studio in England on the first record and we heard back the vocals. I told Roy I thought it was way, way too much. But it grew on me later and it sounded so smooth. It was a nice process to do it because Roy, was fortunate enough to have a 40-track machine, so he could do layering of vocals a lot. That's insane, but that's what working with Queen does for you. So once again, thank you, Rich. And guys, if you're new here, the music will not be in this video, but there is a link below. You can follow along with me, or if you just want to know what I think, hang around here. There you have it, Good Times Roll. I know the chorus of that, just the Good Times Roll. I don't think I really know the song too well. It's not something that, I ever came across listening to popular radio in the 80s. It was the current stuff. It's a really good song. The production on this right away, when it first starts, the guitar's in the right channel, everything else is in the left channel, and you kind of just hit me, how lucky are they to hit Roy Thomas Baker on their debut album? Usually a brand new group debut album in the 60s or 70s, there's so much music being produced and looked at out there. You're not going to get somebody who's top notch. So that helped them out. And then in that, I mentioned during the reaction, in that last line of the chorus, let the good times roll, it has that layering, crazy layering effect, and does sound like a Queen song there, but almost every line starts out with let. I'm talking like 90% of these lines start out with let. And so Rick's just going through, kind of being, like I said, sarcastic in the beginning. Let the good times roll, let them knock you around, let the good times roll, let them make you a clown. And then that chorus, let them leave you up in the air, let them brush your rock and roll hair, let the good times roll. The stories be told, say what they want, photos be old, show what they want. And then nice instrumentation, just a really, really well put together rock and roll record. So I enjoyed that one. This thing is loaded with the singles are front loaded on here. We'll go to the second track, My Best Friend's Girl, also sung by Rick. And the second single went to 35 in the US, went to 3 in the UK, which is their highest charting single there ever. Kind of on that note, it was named one of the 1001 best songs ever in a 2003 issue of Q magazine. So that kind of has the UK tie-in of being so popular there. Rick later said the lyrics were not inspired by any personal incident, saying, "Nothing in that song to me happened to me personally. I just figured having a girlfriend stolen was probably something that happened to a lot of people." Yeah, Rick, you're good there. He also said the lyrics for the chorus were an afterthought, saying, "At some point I realized my lyrics didn't include the words, 'my best friend's girl.' So I pulled out the lyrics someone had typed up and added a chorus in the margin in pen." That's pretty funny to me. Now, a good story behind this song and the one that's going to come next on this album. It first appeared in 1977 on Boston radio stations WCOZ and WBCN from a demo tape, along with Just What I Needed, which is coming up next. DJ Maxon Sartori, who was given the tapes of these songs by Rick, recalled, "I began playing the demos of Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl in March during my weekday slot from 2 to 6 p.m. Calls poured in with positive comments. Shortly thereafter, it became one of the station's most requested songs, and this helped them get a record deal. You never know." Just a little note there, the calls poured in. Back in the day, we used to call and tell the radio station, you can make requests. They might put you on the radio every once in a while. And the program directors actually paid attention, in the record execs, to the feedback from the public that they were calling in with. So just a little blast from the past that reminded me of, the good old days. I'll be the old guy here. All right, let's check it out. My Best Friend's Girl. Once again, the production, we have the hand clapping. We have a lot of just things that are nice little production tricks that really make it hang in your head a little bit. Elliot Easton killing it on the guitar. The backing vocals, fantastic. The lyrics themselves, it's just a standard rock and roll story, man. It's his best friend's girl. Now, he puts in there she used to be his, but just describing this girl, she's kind of entrancing to everybody that comes across her. And just a really good performance. Really enjoyed that one. I know this one better than I knew the first track. And then the next track is Just What I Needed. Benjamin Orr makes his first appearance as a vocalist on this album. It was the lead single, went to 27 in the US. Rick had originally written the song in the basement of the commune he lived in at the time. The song's opening riff was borrowed from Yummy 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 by the Ohio Express. The lyric Wasting All My Time is reference to Sister Ray by the Great Velvet Underground, a band Rick credited as one of his favorites. In 2003, Fountains of Wayne would in turn copy the Cars' take on the riff for their song Stacy's Mom. I know this song a lot more even than I know the first two songs, but when you look on Spotify, which is what obviously I'm using here, Good Times Roll has 38 million plays. My Best Friend's 57 million. My Best Friend's Girl, 57 million. Just What I Needed, 118 million. So by far the most popular song on here. What a classic sound. Before we get into the song itself, I just want to point out, synthesizers obviously come in big here with Greg Hawkes, and then the guitar with Elliot Easton, and they play off each other quite well, which I think probably is one of the reasons why the Cars were so successful, because, you got Orr and Ocasek on vocals, so they're sharing the vocals on different songs, and playing bass and guitar at times and different things. But the other two guys, along, of course, with David Robinson on drums, are heavily involved in the signature sound. And so I think sometimes in bands, the instrumentalist guys just kind of feel like an afterthought, but here it's so pivotal to their sound. So that is kind of cool. No, this song definitely better than the other two, as I mentioned. And, it's just an obvious, once again, it's not like songwriting at a PhD level, because it doesn't need to be. It's such good rock and roll. The intro right away, it, and that's the one they took from the Ohio Express, but you know what the song is right away if you've ever heard this song. And he's like, I don't mind you coming here and wasting all my time, because when you're standing oh so near, I kind of lose my mind. So she's really not wasting his time. It's just kind of a play on words. And then he gets into that. It's not that perfume you wear. It's not the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming here and wasting all my time. And and then the chorus comes in. I guess you're just what I needed, that little callback. I needed someone to feed. And then in the last part of that chorus, I needed someone to bleed. Then you get back into that guitar bridge, and he just kind of repeats that stuff. So it's more just about, the song is just so pleasing sonically and so catchy. So obviously another good one. You start this one out with 3 singles and 3 fire songs. Now we'll go on to I'm in Touch with Your World. Lead vocals back with Rick on this one. Features many bizarre sound effects played by Greg Hawkes. Hawkes said, that was always one of my favorite ones to play live. He continued, plus I figured it'd be fun for people to watch visually. The line, everything is science fiction, was a result of Hawkes mishearing O'Kasic's original lyric. Everything you say is fiction. Hence the spacey sound effect after the line. Rick changed the line to accommodate this. So the rest of this album, I'm not sure I'm familiar with at all. Like I said, I listened to it once last year, but these will be pretty new to me. I'm in Touch with Your World. I gotta admit, on really first listen, not sure what I think of this song, but I have a feeling this is one that would grow on you the more and more you listen to it. I'm sure you guys commenting on this vid will let me know that, but definitely strange, the soundscape of it, which has probably made everybody sit up and listen, especially after the catchiness of those first 3 songs. It really does sound like they just threw everything in the kitchen sink in there. The guitar work was nice. Rick's delivery was nice, and it has that little riff that does stick in your head, so I could see how it could grow on me. The lyrics, I'm not even going to, they're pretty much nonsensical for the most part. They just work together in the flow of the song. So, you know, it's loose concept, I guess. He's in touch with her world. He knows what's going on with her. That's about what I could pull out of it. Now we're going to the last song of the A side. We got Don't Ya Stop. Don't Ya Stop got back more into that rocking sound. The guitar by Elliott was fantastic. All the instrumentation so well produced. Get a little panning effect at the end on the chorus. Nice songwriting techniques on almost all of these songs, and the fact that they repeat the chorus a lot, and then a lot of times the chorus leads into this extended outro that's just a piece of the chorus, the main catchphrase, and they did it on this one too. Real simple song. It's basically, you know, boys and girls about sex and how much he desires this girl and all the things he likes about her. Don't you stop. So a nice way to end out the A-side, which, as I always say on the channel, is important back in 1978 when you're just spinning the vinyl. You know, the first thing and the last thing you hear are highly important, which on that note brings us to the start of the B-side. And we have Rick on vocals again on this one. You're All I've Got Tonight. You're All I've Got Tonight. I will say this song is the best, in my opinion, produced and put together song. I don't think it's the best song, but as far as the instrumentation and the vocal performances being one, it's this song. It's intricately produced. That synthesizer has that interesting sound to it. There's 2 different guitar solos. They really hammer the chorus through, just like I said before. They do it on this song. They end that way, but they end almost with the harmonizing of that tonight, and it really, really sticks in your head. They haven't mentioned David Robinson much. A lot of drumming on this. He really stands out. Elliott is a superstar here. Greg on the synth is fantastic. Really enjoyed it. The lyrics again, look, you're all I've got tonight. He doesn't care what she does to him, mocks him, treats him bad. It doesn't matter. She's all he's got tonight. So he's going to be there no matter what. It's more about just the way this song was put together. Once again, really catchy and interesting as you listen to it. Just with the instrumentation, it makes you, all right, what's going on here? So far, we're 6 songs through, and Rick has sung lead on 5, Benjamin only on 1, but Benjamin's going to sing these last 3. There's only 9 tracks on here. Let's move on to Bye Bye Love. It's one of their oldest songs, dates back to the mid-70s. The song was first performed and recorded as a demo by the band Captain Swing, which featured Rick, Benjamin, and guitarist Elliott Easton as members. I think the Cars probably worked out better than Captain Swing as a name, but let's check this one out. Bye Bye Love. Greg gets his first synthesizer solo on here. The synthesizer had some spacey type effects on here, and I know it's a broken record, so to speak, but Elliott's guitar is great. It's interesting because Benjamin's vocal delivery is a lot different than Rick's, and they both work fantastic, and I think that probably was a testament to their staying power, that they're able to kind of vary it up a little bit. Once again, songwriting, it's fine, man. It's not what it's about. Bye Bye Love. He's taken in with her. he knows she's bad news. He knows at the end of the day she's going to take off. But the bye love, and they harmonize that last part, and the instrumentation changes in that chorus with that bye love. And I mean, once again, Roy Thomas Baker is borderline MVP of this album, because man, he understands how to produce and arrange a song, and how great that must have been for a band who'd been around for a little bit in one incarnation or another, but being able to go into that studio for the first time, like for real in the studio, not just cutting a demo, and having a master back there who can arrange these things, because they're just all so catchy. And now we'll move on to the 8th track, no pun intended, Moving in Stereo. Remember, Benjamin's on lead vocals here. It was co-written by Rick and Greg Hawkes, the keyboard player. An instrumental portion of this was in the 1982 movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, in which it accompanies Judge Reinhold's character's fantasy of Phoebe Cates' character removing her bikini top. So one of the most iconic 80s movie scenes, period. This was the song playing. It was popularized in the movie, but it was not included on the soundtrack album. Man, that would have given them a huge bump. But the Cars were already doing quite well by then. Moving in Stereo, quite the interesting sonic soundscape. Right from the very jump, you got the panning. You got to listen to this with headphones to get the true experience of things. You get the panning when he says, it starts out, life's the same, I'm moving in stereo, and life's the same, the third line, you're shaking like tremolo, and a little wavy effect comes in there. But the songwriting itself, like each verse has the same words repeated at the start of every line. There's 4 lines in every verse. Life's the same. Verse 2, it's so easy. Verse 3, it's so tough. Verse 4, back to life's the same. Then we get the instrumental break. Then we finish off again, that same trick, repeating verse 1, 4, and the outro are the same, and it really sticks in your head. It's really totally different than anything on the album. I won't say it doesn't fit, but it almost doesn't fit, right? It pushes right up to that border. It's got great instrumentation. The synthesizer, obviously Greg co-wrote this, so there's a lot of synthesizer play in here, but it's almost like it's a lot more experimental, even has a little craft work, I would say, influence on it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Let's go to the final track, which is All Mixed Up. Benjamin on lead vocal. It allowed Greg Hawkes a chance to step away from his many synthesizers and play the closing saxophone solo, one of 2 in the Cars discography, the other being Gimme Some Slack. Let's finish this thing off. All Mixed Up. A very fitting way to end this album, because you had so much diverse instrumentation. Greg hits the synths really well, and then of course that saxophone in there. The guitar works great. It mirrored a lot of the songwriting on the rest of the album, and the fact that it's not the chorus, it's all mixed up, but the bridge, she says to leave it to me, and then they call back that leave it to me. That's the bridge, and that's the outro, just a very long, and then it ends with that Be All Right. It actually could have named the song Be All Right. It seems like that's probably what it should have been, but it's all mixed up, so everything's kind of backwards. The first verse, she shadows me in the mirror, she never leaves on the light. So how could that be? And some things I say to her, they just don't seem to bite. Verse 2, she tricks me into thinking I can't believe my eyes. I wait for her forever, but she never does arrive. It's all mixed up. She says, leave it to me. Everything will be all right. Trust me, man. It's going to be fine. Yet, oftentimes when they tell you that, it is absolutely not. I thought everything really worked well on that song. A fitting closer. And now we'll get on to my favorite tracks. I'm going to go with My Best Friend's Girl, Just What I Needed. And this last song, All Mixed Up. Obviously, Good Times Roll gets an honorable mention in there. I liked all the songs. The one I probably liked the least was Moving in Stereo, of all things. But I did remember the instrumental from the movie as soon as it started playing. But this album is lauded as just a fantastic debut, and I think it epitomizes 1970s, late 1970s rock and roll with that little synth coming in with kind of a little, it's kind of a bridge, right? It takes us from that rock into what the early 80s and into the mid 80s was going to be with almost the new wave stuff. I think it's one of those albums because it is so catchy. The songwriting techniques, as I mentioned, are almost consistent throughout the album. Chorus, outro, all the same words. It sticks in your head. They punch it up with instrumentation and layered harmonies on some of the chorus. Roy Thomas Baker, wow, fantastic job all the way around. Rick will grow in the songwriting. But one of the things I always enjoyed about the Cars from my time with them in the 80s is just most of their songs are just fun, man. You listen to the Cars, it's a good time. It takes you back to a different time and place. So with the consistency of this album and some of the just great all-time iconic songs, I'm going to be at an 8.25. That might be even higher, I'm sure, on repeated listens, especially if you were listening to it back in 1978. And thank you, Rich, for bringing this one. You always bring great stuff. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of this album, what else I should check out by the Cars. They got pretty big holes in their catalog for me that I haven't listened to. And until next time, guys, I will see you.